Faith versus reason. Which one rules the domain of personal mastery? Hi there, this is James Tripp. This is a video on faith versus reason in the domain of personal mastery. This distinction that I'm going to offer you here, faith versus reason, and how they work, how these two faculties of mind, modes of mind, approaches of mind, actually are very powerful, but they belong in separate domains. And one of the reasons that people keep a lot of significant advancement and change out of their life is by using the faculty of reason where they need to be using the faculty of faith. Now, before I say anything more, I just want to say that for many, many years, I dismissed faith. Conceptually, I dismissed faith as nonsense. I remember saying to people many times over, what is faith other than believing things without evidence? And when you believe something without evidence, well, surely you're just an idiot, right? So I believed in the primacy of the rational mind, the primacy of the rational brain, because I believed the same damn thing that most of us believe that grow up in Western culture, that reasoning, that rationality is the pinnacle of thinking and acts as a sort of means for uncovering truth. So if we use our rational, reasonable mind, we can uncover the truths about the world, and those truths will serve us better. And that is an idea that is not without truth. But when it comes to personal change, it's incredibly damaging, and I'm going to explain why. So, first of all, one of the things that happens for us as we grow up is we build a worldview, a set of understandings through which we make sense of the world, and they become our fundamental operating system. Whenever we use reason or rationality, it is always based upon what we already believe and how we already understand things to be. So if we want to start using reason and rationality to help us make changes in our lives, it's not actually well placed at all. What it generally does is it starts to operate to reinforce the current ideas that we come from. As soon as we're using our reasoning, as soon as we're using our rationalization, in hypnosis it's often referred to as the critical faculty. What we start doing is we start coming from the place of what we already believe, and we start using the critical faculty, which incidentally is not a tool for uncovering truth. It is like a sword that hacks ideas to bits. That's what it does, right? Our rational faculty hacks ideas to bits. There is no idea that you cannot take apart using critical thinking. Critical thinking can take any idea apart. This is why it's highly regarded in modern Western philosophy as a tool for finding truth, because the idea is that if you cannot take the idea apart, then it must be really solid, it must be really true. But ultimately there is no idea that you cannot take apart, which is why the modern analytical tradition of philosophy is never ending. There's always another angle of critique that you can come in at. But it's not a bad thing either, by the way. I'm not knocking it. It's a useful tool so long as you don't elevate it and deify it as many people do. So our critical faculty is a tool for hacking new ideas apart. Now think about it like this. If you want to change your way of being in the world, you need to transform your operating system, the base ideas from which you work, by which you work. You need to transform this stuff. And if you're using your existing ideas as a basis for your critical faculty to hack apart new ideas, there can be no change. There can be no change. And this is where faith comes in. Because where I used to dismiss it being idiocy, believing things without evidence, for me that was like, you must be an idiot if you believe things without evidence. I have come to see things very, very differently. The capacity to stay with an idea or a set of ideas without relying on evidence is powerful if you really want to connect into those ideas. You see, here's the thing. Take on board a new idea. You've got to roll with it for a while before you start seeing the effect of it in the world. You've got to bed into it before you start seeing the effect. If you take a new idea about how you could be, how you could live, how life works, and you connect with it, you get to try it on. You get to do something interesting with it. But if you pull out your sword of reason and critical thinking and hack it to pieces straight away, it ain't gonna fly. You're never gonna see how that idea worked. So if you put your sword of reason away, your critical faculty, and on faith you take the idea and you bathe in it, you explore with it, you try it out in the world, and you see what evidence you get, and you lean on the side of it being true and being so for a while at least. So as you get to actually gather some data before you pull out that sword of reason. And I would recommend hanging with a new idea or a concept for some time, having faith in it for a while before moving on to the phase of critical evaluation. Okay, so that's faith versus reason, if you like. And just to sum up, faith gives you the ability to try on something new, right? Because it's not going to jump and look for evidence. Faith is the ability to hang with an idea in spite of what your critical mind might be saying. Critical thinking, that's a sword for hacking new ideas apart, or any ideas apart. You can actually use it to hack your old ideas apart, but nobody ever really does because they're too wedded to their old operating systems, but you can use it that way. So here's the thing. When you want to take on board new ideas, new ways of being, new attitudes, new mindsets, I will tell you this and I will tell you this straight. Your reasoning faculty, your critical faculty has no place in that game. Learn to take it offline. And if your critical faculty is jumping in, if you start saying, do you know what, I'm going to connect to a more powerful way of being in the world, and then your critical faculty says, yeah, but are you really that powerful? And and it starts to go down this line. Take it offline. Watch out for your critical faculty when you're doing self-transformation, whether that's formal self-hypnosis or less formal exploration of new ideas and possibilities. Watch out for that critical faculty because it will slice apart anything new given half a chance. Okay, so if you like this video, if you like the idea in this video, you can make use of it. Make sure you like the video. If you haven't subscribed to James Tripp Chaos Wave yet, now is the time to do it and set your notifications for future videos. If you have any questions regarding the content of this video or any perspectives you'd like to share, make use of the comment section, and that way this conversation can continue.